to fight for what you want, for all that you believe. It's right to fight for what we want, to live the way we please. As long as we have done our best, then no one can do more. And life and
Well, I fucked that up, didn't I? I did warn you I wasn't well tonight. Hello there, welcome to the Flashing Blade podcast. I'm Siobhan. We were talking, passing strangers. Moments caught across an empty room. Right, let's meet the plucky girl assistants. Yeah. We've got the Brian there. Hello, the Brian.
Hello.
And what do we say, boys
I
and
may
girls?
rise, but I refuse to shine.
Fair enough. May I? What do we say, boys and girls, at home when we see a Brian? Are you still American, Brian?
Well, I have long since defected to Mars,
You've been
and
mentioning
therefore
this, yes.
in conflict with Sinister Enterprise.
You are incorporated, actually.
How- However, the covert efforts of the Martian resistance are winning out. We have managed to repulse most of Sinister Enterprises out of our territory, and New Caledonia is coming along very nicely.
Do you want to tell him, or shall I?
I'm sure he knows. I'm sure his generals have told him at some point. You know,
Well,
That's why
in the
he's
same way
throwing them out
Putin
of
finds
windows.
out. But yeah. Actually, that's a story I could. I've just had an idea for a sinister story. Hi, Lilibet. It's Lilibet the Wonder Girl, everybody. Hey. Ah, dear. Ah, right. How's your week been, love?
Better this week. And I got down to the market and bought really
5
cute-
beans.
No, really cute gummy bear earrings. Aren't they cute?
Oh, they are cute.
They're gummy bears.
Yes, but
And?
they're also earrings.
Okay.
I've got earrings that are cat's bottoms. I mean, you know, which I can't find either. Now I think about
Straight
it.
white male. I'm sorry. I'm never going to understand it. So
Cute. Just take my word for it. And I'm
Men.
looking forward to the Barbie movie this week because it looks really, really fun.
the Barbieheimer movie.
Yeah, I just don't care that much about Oppenheimer, so that's fine.
He cares about
I'm waiting
you.
until August 11th because I just saw the trailer when the show was starting of the Last Voyage of the Demeter,
Uh-huh.
the new Dracula movie. That looks good.
Cherish these films, boys and girls, because you're not
Well,
going to
yes.
have fuck all
We're
next
not going
year.
to have any for a while, which is, you know what? They should be paid properly.
And they should
Not
sort
that
out the
difficult.
AI issue. I'm behind them 100%.
Yeah, it's not that hard. If
We
they
have
sorted
books.
themselves out properly the first time, we wouldn't be in this problem.
You know how
We have
much
books.
the CEO of the new HBO Max thing is making?
That was
We're
100
$500 million a year.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
and what do
more
you
than
do?
sold.
What do you do for that kind of money?
This is what he does.
Sit in a boardroom, pretend to make some decisions,
Yeah.
wear a suit, probably.
No,
Like-
sorry.
Go be useful.
No, we Fashion Blade stands behind the actors and the writers and the directors. We fully understand we won't get shit next year, and that's just too bad. That's we have books, like I was saying. You know, we can.
I do
we have
RPG,
DVDs.
so-
Yeah, exactly. There's plenty of
Nice
stuff
thing
to
is,
do.
live plays are not covered by this. The only live plays that I've heard of that are covered by it are covered by a SAG-AFTRA contract, and they've already shut down. But things like Critical Role, some Dimension 20, but I think they're shut down. But they have they film in advance.
Question, please.
Yeah.
Being very careful what we say about who got booted out of Critical Role then.
Oh, Brian
And
W.
why?
Foster.
Now, which have I seen him on?
Have you been rewatching season 1?
I'm trying to remember. I haven't been rewatching anything. Hang on, I've got to just watch it. The one with Grog in.
Okay, that's season 1.
Yeah.
All right. So there
Was
are
he in
actually 2 former members of Critical Role.
Yeah.
One is Orion. He was in the very early episodes up to like episode 27 when it all falls apart for him.
Oh, I don't know.
He was let go, asked to leave, whatever, the gaming group. He had issues. The next one was Brian W. Foster. He hosted their Talks Machina show, the after show. He also did a bunch of behind the scene videos, and he ran the Undead Wood thing they had on there. It was a one shot.
Let me guess, a Western with zombies or vampires.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
He at one point in time was dating Ashley. You have no idea.
No, I've forgotten so much. I'm sorry.
I
wouldn't worry. I wouldn't. Right.
Grog's little friend.
Yes. I got you.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. He was dating her, and in real life they broke up earlier this year, I want to say, back in January, and he didn't take things well, and she had to get a restraining order against him.
Oh dear.
Apparently he.
They don't need to go into detail.
According to allegations, he's a little unhinged. He had or has a drug issue.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all out there. You can Google it, but it appears that Critical Role has since terminated any relationship with him, hence removing the videos from being online. That way he does not, I guess, in his contract, he may have gotten residual payments from the
payments. Are you paying us?
This.
Are you paying us?
No, I'm not getting paid.
Well, that's all right for you. It's a labor.
I mean, if you want to, we can all form a company and do this shit like they do. They actually formed a production company. Every single Critical Role main cast member is a partner in the production company.
I'll say yes. However, I insist on having the title of union foreman.
Well, first we have to be unionized. Join the union.
I already am in the union, so
yeah, we're not. This isn't a union show. This is
what?
Yeah.
And we've just been saying how much we support them. I don't.
Oh, I support them all to hell, but this is pretendy fun times around the table when everybody's located across the country.
I can't find that sonic screwdriver anywhere. It's going to bug me. It's one of those little things pinging in my brain, distracting me.
Reykjavik.
Yes, Reykjavik. All right, we'll go to Reykjavik. Why don't we? That was an aide memoir I asked Brian to remind me about, because Reykjavik, as we all know, is the capital of Iceland.
Yes.
Oh, story. So we've got a shop over here called Iceland. You've been there. It's so exciting. It has food and things.
It's just all frozen food all the time, basically.
Almost, yeah. Weren't you happy with the disgust in which you first threw the bottle away?
No, I'm disgusted that they're both empty.
Oh, 2 bottles. Luxury.
Yeah,
Dear me. Anyway, by the way, I found out what was in a Long Island iced tea. I now see why you got so fucked doing that episode of The Prisoner.
It was awesome. Almost killed me.
We've got to do that again. Anyway, so Iceland. And so I'm there, and like I say, nowadays it takes me a bit of time, and I hold people up. And so I'm trying to, and I noticed something on the floor next to the cashier's booth. It looked like a small piece of dog shit. And so, slightly embarrassed, I turned round to tell the girl behind the counter, and other people started to hear. And I was embarrassed, and I had to wait for somebody else to come along. And I'm holding people up. The girl says, "Right, what is it?" And she went and have a look at it. It was a chocolate finger. I was so embarrassed. I told you it was worth waiting for, Brian. Yeah.
I think it was cooler when we kept the mystery going. Just me at random points going to you. Reykjavik.
You still can, love. It's all right. We can come up with another word.
What do you think, Lilibet?
Well, it does sound properly sort of spy versus spy.
Mm-hmm.
However,
like
if
that.
you're going to say it, you need a paper under your left arm and a rose in your lapel.
I don't have a lapel.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
You sort of do.
No, I don't.
All
This is a golf shirt.
And you're wearing it, why?
Because it's laundry day.
That's as good an excuse as any. What on earth? Do you want anything to do with golf? I don't know.
And my
Anyway.
other shirt was drenched.
Oh, fair enough. Who we got? We got Brian in chat.
Yeah,
And-
yeah.
And the usual bots. Hello, bots. Ah, dear. How's your week been, love? Brian?
Oh, yeah. Same old,
Hello,
same old.
robot!
The dog has now decided to poop semi-solid.
It's an
Step in
improvement.
the right direction.
It is. It really is. It's still akin to trying to pick up melted butter. So I've just been leaving it there in the yard. It rains frequently enough.
I was going to
that
say
it
that'll
just
get a
washes
pressure
that
hose.
way.
Actually, I was a bit
Yeah.
worried about you guys because New York State's had some flooding.
Yeah, but we're really, really far from New York.
Yeah, and that's like downstate. I'm like mid-state.
They won't let me be concerned for them. It's really annoying.
Well, it's I mean, it's actively raining right now, but as soon as it stops and the sun comes out, you won't be able to tell it ever rained.
No.
Because it's 9,000 degrees.
Yeah.
You can tell it just rained here because the humidity is oh my fucking god. After
Yeah.
it rained.
Yeah, why go outside? You just
gills.
need another shower.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is why I bless the holy name of Willis Carrier.
Not the rains in Africa.
No, he's the man who invented air conditioning.
Well, I gathered that, but why can't you bless the rains in Africa?
Because I don't want to kill all the vampires.
Why not? They're already dead.
I'm just saying, I'm hoping they make me immortal.
Oh, that just sounds so dull.
I get to see
does.
what comes next.
Well, that's just it. You don't.
If I'm immortal, I do.
You get to see what happens on this plane of existence.
If I'm immortal, I get to see what happens next. I get to see the continuing episodes of this show.
Are you behind the future historians? Reykjavik.
Reykjavik.
Yeah. Sinister would love that. You know that, don't you? You'd have jumped on that. My week's been a bit fun. Apart from the aforementioned Reykjavik incident.
Will we ever be over Reykjavik?
Yeah, I'll never be over.
I don't think so.
Oh dear me, I was trying to be good as well. Like I say, my sonic screwdriver and my Dalek sucker arm have gone missing. I had something interesting happen this week. I can't go into too much detail, and I can't name names of finger unfound fools. But there's a woman. I get approached over at the shops by people that I don't know, but they seem to know me or think they do, and it leaves me lost 9 times. I mean, you know what my memory's like anyway.
Do you have
And
a
there's-
doppelganger?
No, and I see so many of them. They all say hello, and for them it's just me, but for me it's just one of several. You know, so it's difficult to keep track. Anyway, this woman, she's an alcoholic, sadly. which immediately puts my hackles up. I'm not very good at
Oh, this
that.
is going to go someplace good.
No, it's not actually. Well, it is, but good as in good.
A
rather
good
than-
story.
All right. There's no punchline to this one. So she thinks her son is trans. Okay. And she doesn't understand it at all. And she's been reading the wrong websites.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
It's so easy to read the wrong things.
Yeah, she says she's come up with all that stuff in her head herself. I'm thinking, no, I don't think you have. So I said, all right, being very wary because it was a child we're dealing with, I said I would talk with them, but I wanted her to be there. And I also, in the meantime, arranged for somebody to eavesdrop to make sure
Okay.
I had a witness as well. Because I don't know. Anything could be taken away from that. It could be turned on its head, and the next thing I know, I've got Lynch Mob going after me. So... Oh, and by the way, Russia, you just proved your, excuse my language, folks, your cuntiness even more. You see what they're about to do to trans people over there.
Mm-hmm.
I swear, they're trying to wipe us out. Anyway,
I wouldn't worry too much about Russia right now. They have other issues going on. Like the inability to keep generals alive.
they are having a problem with that, isn't it? It's too many open
Yeah.
windows.
I mean, they've had 6 get KIA in Ukraine, and now 3 on their streets.
Well, the problem they had was they kept sending the Russian military doctrine meant that the commanders were on the front line. And they're just gleaming targets for everybody.
Hey, look! It's a general! Bang!
Because they have no NCO corps, no sergeants
Yeah.
or anything. So anyway, we're off topic here. And so we agreed to meet, and we did meet. And she also brought her mother along. Now, her mother is her son's guardian. Because of her problems. He's living with her, the grandmother, and she doesn't understand, but she's totally supportive,
Okay.
which is good. Jesus Christ, this child was intelligent. Oh my God. I mean, I got told up front he has autism. I wonder how that presents itself. And oh my God, what a lovely child to talk to. He's 12, I should point out, and questioning. Thinks he knows what he wants. But my God, so scarily clever. I really mean it. At first I thought it was like talking to myself from back then. Then I realised, no, I'm not in this guy's league. Absolutely amazing. So it boiled down to me listening to what he had to say. And then the only advice I gave was go and see a GP. And take it from there. Don't let anybody else interfere. You know? And warned him he's probably not going to get anything done until he's 16 at least. Especially with trans kids are at the moment being used as ammunition in the war, and it's not good. And so I did sort of warn him a little bit about that, but I've sort of said, get in touch whenever you want. And it did him some good to talk to somebody finally. He needed to open up, so that happened. Bit of a weird week, quite frankly.
You've taken on a mentoring ship.
I feel very sorry. I pity the fool. Yeah, but my God, he started talking about Rex the Runt. It's his favourite programme, her favourite programme. I've got to get used to calling her. And I love Rex the Runt. It's daft as a fucking brush. It's loony. It's Aardman Animations, the same people who do Wallace and Gromit and the like. But it's the story of 4 dogs. Oh dear. That's all I'm going to say. It's on YouTube. They're all on YouTube. Series 1 and Series 2 by Aardman Animations. They're, on their channel. It's worth it. It's bonkers. Absolutely. They were on heavy drugs. when they wrote that. I'm sorry, but they were. It was 90s? Could have been 90s. Could have been the noughties.
You know
I
what they
can't
say,
remember.
right?
Tuesday.
All the good entertainment has been written while on drugs. Music, movies,
The Flashing
cartoons,
Blade.
Flashing Blade.
Mhm.
I mean, we drug our monkeys regularly. That's why they produce such good scripts.
Define good.
I can't anymore.
Okay.
I mean, we are award winning.
Did you give
The
yourself the
original
award?
show was award nominated.
Doesn't matter where the award came from, we won the award.
The original show was award nominated.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't win. That was me and Joe back in the day. Good old Joe. So, funny old week. I hope your week's been all right, folks at home who aren't actually there. I really do. Tonight, coming up, we have Doctor Who and the War Games. We have No Big Finish. We have The Great Martian War. I've got some questions to ask about that. And we also have Kolchak, the werewolf.
Yes.
This is your revenge, isn't
Just the way she
It's your
said that
revenge.
means she watched it very intently.
it?
Too.
I watched it. I watched it on my iPad because it's a lot easier to
Uh-huh.
sort out.
Mhm.
I also watched Doctor Strangelove, actually. There's going to be a stage play of that. Armando Iannucci's.
See, I've discovered Pluto TV. Over
Sure,
here.
I think Virgin are going to have Pluto.
They have an all Godzilla channel.
Mm-hmm.
They have an all classic Doctor Who channel. They just got done with Earthshock the other day.
So it's
they
not
just finished the
streaming,
Baker era.
it's actual broadcasting. It's like, so you have to check the,
Pluto is more non-terrestrial cable. If that
yes, it
same
has,
way
you have to check the TV guide, as you put it, to find
well,
out what's
the
coming
same,
on.
the same. It's the same way as Sirius XM isn't true radio.
I don't know what you mean.
Never mind.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
like
Help me out
cable.
here.
It's like cable, but you have to. It's streaming, but it's constant, and you have to just look at their thing and see what's on.
So basically, it's just a television channel.
Yes, except streaming, and you're not
Network.
paying for it.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
this is free.
Oh God, the
If
adverts.
it's free as for me, I'll take 3.
It's the adverts. Oh God.
Well, there are
Interesting to see what they've
commercials.
got on there. It would be interesting to see what they've got on there because if it's fairly new. I don't know how new it is.
Yeah, they have all classic Doctor Who. They have classic TV. They have an entire channel devoted to Happy Days. Happy Days.
That's jumping the shark a bit, isn't it?
A little bit.
Well done.
Thank you.
I
Thank
see
you
what
very
you
much.
did there.
Thank you
Nice.
very much.
Very nicely done.
Cheers. I appreciate that. Yeah. So
I'm waiting for them to get the $6 million man.
I got asked in the Dull Men's group, which I joined way back when, and now, well, I'm trying to bring down the edifice of the patriarchy from the inside. We were asked what our favourite car was from 80s television. Well, from television.
Kit.
A lot of people said that. I said the Death Probe.
There is that. Don't forget Stingray. The Stingray. There is that.
From what TV show?
Stingray.
That wasn't a car.
Yeah.
It was a submarine.
No. Stingray. So it's a 1969 Corvette Stingray.
But that's not a television program, is it?
It was in the 80s.
What, just a
That's why
program?
I just said it.
Hang on, a program called Stingray about the Corvette Stingray.
Yeah. Guy drives along, does solves crime in his Stingray.
You have no idea how American that sounded. Just needed
It's
guns.
It was the
and
80s,
grits.
and I think it was a 3 Coke line show.
There were guns.
I could have said Automan. Would you like me to say Automan?
Yeah, go
You
on.
can watch Automan
No, we
if
can't.
you really, really want to.
No, we can't. You know, it's strange, but we can't. And
Oh.
if you want to say Automan, I challenge you. I counter you with Manimal.
Let's go. Let's go.
No,
Bring it
no
up.
Simon
Bring
McCorkindale
it up.
unless
You
it's
brought
Quatermass.
this up. You started it. Let's go.
Okay.
Manimal it is. Right after Kolchak.
No, that's not happening. Oh dear.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Then we'll do the Phoenix. Uh-huh. What now?
Yeah, no. You're again
Obscure
labouring
80s.
under the misapprehension that I give a damn what you think and want to do.
Obscure 80s television is my jam, baby. Let's go.
I want to do the young ones. I'd love to do the young ones, but I don't know how well it would translate to America.
I've seen quite a few. I just find them a bit full of chaos, and I don't really like any of the characters.
Oh, you teacher, you. Well, no, they're not likable characters at all. They're not.
Why would I want to watch a whole show about characters I don't like?
You know what we could do? You know what
Thank
we
you for
could
getting
really
me
do?
out of having to answer that question. Go on.
We could really redo Tomorrow People now that Lilibit is here. Disco close. All I'm saying.
Was Spanky here for the Tomorrow People at all? I know Eddie was.
Oh, Eddie was. It was me, you, and Eddie doing the Tomorrow People.
Well, it ended up just being you and Eddie.
Yeah.
Because I got to the end of season 4 and went, no, bailing.
Come on, the jumpsuits. You gotta love the jumpsuits.
I have a box set that thick of Tomorrow People episodes. It's
Yep.
I have a box set here somewhere.
I
don't
have
know if
them
all of them but-
digitally.
Hmm?
Purchased totally legally. Yes.
you really should try and do something with your hair, Brian. It's no good.
I know. I got caught
See,
in
I
the
can't,
rain.
ladies and
No.
gentlemen, I can't actually notice a problem with Brian's hair, but he's been so worried about it this evening that I'm going to sit here and take the piss.
See? You can see it now.
The quiff.
Yeah.
Hey, one of my best friends has got a quiff.
Just saying.
And I used to have a quiff. And...
Well, I don't want to
He
look
did
like
have
I
the
have a
piss taken.
comb over.
Oh, but love, we know you do. Just stay,
don't.
stand there
This is
proudly.
not real.
Let
This
the
is
wind
real.
blow
Ow,
it up.
ow.
You know?
No, I'm not going to be one of those guys that blows it up and gets the $80 a day moose habit. I'm not that guy.
Hey, you're not David Tennant.
Look,
Oh,
it was aliens, damn it.
Oh, Graham Lineham, who's he's the writer of Father Ted and the IT Crowd and probably a lot of stuff you really enjoyed. Unfortunately, he's become over as the chief transphobe, and he's gone loony with it. He's had encounters with the police over it, accused of stalking. His wife divorced him over it, and he just lets rip now at anybody.
I wonder if there isn't a point where, because we've had this with a few people now, haven't we? I mean, maybe not to such an
It's
extent.
like they
but
destroy themselves. They go
I
loony.
wonder if it's not an element of mental illness.
Oh, I think there must be something there to be so obsessed.
That's the level of obsession and the not understanding that, like,
No compassion. or
whatever
empathy
you
there.
personally are not cool with is not anybody else's business.
Yeah,
And you don't get to decide how other people live their lives.
quite right. But
don't
he,
tell that to the Christian evangelicals.
I grew up Catholic.
They are
but
gonna be,
We told
yeah.
that to the Christian evangelicals.
they are going to be
Same
such
thing,
a
yeah.
big surprise come the rapture.
I grew up Catholic. I haven't been to church except for funerals and weddings in years.
They don't count Catholics as Christians. So
Yeah, so David Tennant has been doing the rounds, doing publicity for Good Omens 2, which I am deeply looking forward to.
oh yeah, me too.
Please don't let us down. Please don't let us down. The prayer of the streaming audience. Anyway, and in one of the photo shoots, whenever he wore a T-shirt, basically, leave trans kids alone, you freaks, something like that. Lineham didn't like that. Lineham launched one.
That he does like.
He launched an attack at David Tennant.
Oh, that's something you don't do.
That's gonna end well.
don't think he's realised just quite how popular Mr. Dr. David Tennant, sir, is. Also, there's a chance he may have libelled Tennant. So I'm hoping that Tennant gets the lawyers out. Whether he will or not, I don't know, because he's a very nice bloke. He may think, nah.
And he himself isn't terribly online.
No, he isn't. But Georgia is. Georgia's all over it. You mentioned David Tennant and she's there. It's so lovely. It's so sweet.
I'm expecting her in the comments section in a few minutes now.
Yes, we've mentioned Mr. Dr. David Tennant, so she should. Hi, Georgia.
Hi, Georgia.
She watches the show, as you know. I don't think.
Loved your character of Jenny.
I don't think there's any more news. Is there any more news? No, the new Target books are out.
Oh, good.
This pleases me greatly.
Do we have a date for the David Tennant's return? Yeah.
No.
All we have are
November.
the.
They just announced the
premium.
new Blu-ray set too, didn't they?
Didn't hear that. I know they've announced that
The new collection set.
Oh, the new. Sorry, you're talking classic. Who? Right.
Yes.
Sorry, we're crossing our lines here. Well, hang on.
Sorry.
So the Target books are out, and I'm almost finished the Zygon Invasion. Very targety in its writing approach, but sorry, Pete Harness, you don't quite have Terence's touch. But still good. I've got Towards Mars and I think Planet of the Ood. Is it Planet of the Ood? No, Warriors Gate and Beyond to read through. And I've got to get the other two next week. But they've announced in January they're releasing the Target novelizations of the 3 specials.
Oh, good.
It's almost like the old days back in the 70s and 80s. I mean, people are hoping that they do a 5 Doctors on it, where they release the book 2 weeks before it's actually shown on the telly.
Well,
I don't know,
Russell.
given Amazon's record on this sort of thing, it's entirely possible.
And
Well,
yes,
Russell
I did cheat.
Has whole reason he wanted to take control of it was because it is under monetized, and he can make a whole universe based on this.
There's a slight problem,
So-
and it's being shown up with the writer's strike and whatever. The streaming model doesn't work, and we've just been taken over. Well, it hasn't been taken over. It's in partnership with Disney, because for streaming on Disney Plus. So
Yeah, I'm really worried about that.
Stream does work because people do watch it. They just don't pay properly because they don't want to tell what their actual numbers are.
The thing that all these streaming companies and sites have to realize is their entire existence hinges and is very dependent on them being so much more easily accessible and inexpensive to piracy. Because honestly, you can price yourself right out of the game. Look at Games Workshop. They're pricing themselves right out of people's pockets.
Well, and I think basically they need to face the fact that they've put themselves back into the cable model.
Yes.
Where you're paying for all these different services and you switch between them. And I don't want that. I want it all. I mean, I don't want monopolies essentially,
but I'd like to
put it on one thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
pay
Well,
everybody.
Apple,
That's
You guys
what
handle
originally
on the
made
back
that
end.
Apple
such
TV's
a
doing
success.
that. It's got as long as you've got the apps, Prime, iPlayer, etc. You can link it in through your Apple TV app and look at stuff from Prime or.
Oh, I
BritBox or-
just-
You know
I
what
don't wanna-
else you can do? You can download it and you can stream it via Chromecast directly to your TV that has built-in Chrome.
You
from your
can, but
computer.
like I'm quite happy to pay for my stuff. But one,
Yeah.
stop region locking nonsense.
Yes.
Just worldwide distribute and pay everybody properly.
Uh-huh.
2, don't make me pay for a million things. I'll pay more for one if it has everything on it. I'll pay you $40-$50 a month as long as everybody's on the thing.
That reminds me.
One app, one thing. I don't have to pay more for it. Don't
Yep.
put commercials on it. Just put everything there and make it easy to find and the app accessible and easy to navigate. It's not hard. They just don't want to do it because they all want to be little money grubbing horrible.
They're little greedy bastards that are ruining it all, and pretty soon everybody's just going to go, oh, okay, fuck you. We're going to go back to pirating because this is outrageous.
Oh, and I want to be able to pay for things. I want the people involved in the thing who did the thing I like to get paid for their work. I absolutely
They've already
do.
gotten paid. If they have made the show,
They got paid to make it, but they should be paid their residuals. They should be paid every time somebody watches it. They should get paid.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
It's not that difficult to do.
No,
they just
it's
don't
not that
want to.
difficult. This is why I hop into my TARDIS when it's World Cup season and watch the matches on BBC One.
I would love to be able. I mean, I have BritBox, but I would love to be able to access the BBC channels over here. I would pay the license fee.
We'll talk after this.
Well, I know there's other ways to do it, but like legitimately, let me pay you.
Yeah, it's not going to happen
You
because
just
it's
wanna
not
do
region
it.
lock.
Well, so unregion lock it. It's not really
Yep.
that difficult.
You have been told.
You have to have an IP address within Great Britain.
I shouldn't have to
sign up
fool around
for
and
it.
do things through back doors that they should just legitimately do.
I know. I agree. I'm down with it. But
It
stuff
annoys
happens.
me. It annoys me.
I'm sorry, Auntie. We've been talking. And
No, I'm
monopolizing.
quite pleased. I've got to go and cancel Netflix. I've just remembered.
Yeah, go ahead. Everybody cancel Netflix.
Yeah. I
HBO Max while you're at it too.
I got Disney.
Oh, they're
I've got
annoying.
Prime.
Yeah.
I think that's it. BritBox.
I
That's the
think
other one.
mostly
thought
I
I'd
watch
cancelled, but-
YouTube.
Oh! The Virgin
Yes?
Saga.
Oh yes. Any details on that?
Hang on, I'm going to get some snacks out and get ready for this one.
You're going to like this one. This is a good one. When last we spoke,
God.
do you remember rightly, Lilibet was going to come over here and kick Virgin's shit
Have
off the curb.
kind, understanding words
Now, I couldn't make her do
with
that.
their phone
I couldn't,
professionals.
because she's on holiday. But they ended up not actually cancelling the package that I asked them to cancel, despite asking them time and time and time again to cancel it. And they're saying, oh, yes, but if you just know, I want it cancelled. Well, yep, that's fair enough. But if you just, no, I want to cancel. And you actually have to say it like that. In the end, he says,
You
okay.
have to say it 3 times.
Yep. In the end, I think they agreed to cancel it. They didn't cancel it.
Of course not.
So I'm now paying through the nose. Virgin are being investigated by the regulator. Ofcom.
Who sounds like they should wear a big cape and a big hat and be the regulator.
I agree. They
Talk
need-
like they're a grizzly bear.
Yes.
But they're being
the regulator.
they're being investigated for basically making it practically impossible for people to leave their service.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas it's supposed to be incredibly easy to switch to try and keep the market flowing. You know,
That's
people
a
can
lie.
just flick. Beep, beep, beep,
It
beep.
never will be.
No, of course not. But
Again,
that's-
you should just be able to go on their website and push a button and cancel.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
No, that
It should
doesn't
not be
happen.
easy. It should not be difficult to cancel anything.
Well, I've got to.
It should be easier to cancel than it was to sign up.
I'm going to have them come out here at some stage, because if I get this conservatory, I'm going to need them to come and probably move the junction box, where it comes into the house, because I mean it doesn't work anyway apart from the internet. That's it. So I have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, I just thought it'd be interesting that Ofcom could find them a lot of money, which will be like a pimple on the chin to them. But there we go. That's.
It should be fines should be a percentage. I have a lot of opinions this evening.
I had
Fines
noticed
should
that
be
this evening.
yeah.
Go for it.
Fines should be a percentage
She's
of your
ranting, Brian.
company's. Yes.
I have no problem with
No,
this.
it's
Of your
flashing blade.
company's, not your profit, like before your net income. It should be a percentage of that. So if you're a million billion forever company and, 20%, you get a 20% fine or something, it should hit you hard. Whereas if you're a smaller company, 20% is still going to hit you hard, but it's not going to be $1 billion because you don't have $1 billion. It should be a percentage of how annoying this was to your customers.
I think they should be given the thing of, look, improve this, and this is what we want improved, or else we'll take your license away.
We'll send Tony round with,
I'm down with that.
an encouragement.
She's off on one tonight.
I
Jesus.
told you to bring the baseball bat.
Wow.
I told you when you went over, take the baseball bat. You're going to want it.
Dear me.
Play
think
listen
the
to
world-
Zathras.
I just think the world is not actually that easy to fix. People just don't want to. And I am not interested in whether or not they want to.
Yeah. I'm tired of being,
I'm tired.
held back by people's unwillingness to change for the better. You're going to change for the better whether you like it or not.
And then
If
you'll
you
be
don't like
happier
it,
that
get
you
off.
did.
Fascist.
Yeah, you'll be happier that you did.
Fascist.
No, just in charge.
Now, don't worry. I know you're Polish. You're being invaded. But basically, we're just in charge, okay? We're just in charge.
No, I don't want to invade anybody.
I'm not
I want them
invading
to-
shit.
No. No. I'm just fixing things so it works properly.
I'm just going to
Will
the
the
people in
trains
power
run
and
on
saying,
time?
You're done.
Yeah,
You're
now
done.
I'd like to do that.
That's it.
That's
You're
something
done.
I'd very much like to do.
It's over. You're done.
I'd like to turn around
Enough.
and say that to them. And say,
Enough out of you.
and have
You're
to,
done.
genuinely be able to say, okay, that's it, you're done. Pack up. I'm sorry.
Yep. It's over.
We insist upon these terms for employees because obviously they.
Well, we have to look through our numbers. No, you're done.
Yeah, that's it.
It's
But the
over.
thing is, they won't allow themselves to quit.
No. That's okay.
Right then.
There are other ways.
Bit sad you didn't watch this thing, but anyway, from the worlds of BBC Television's Doctor Who, it's Doctor Who. I love it. Anyway, a second Doctor Who, possibly. We're not entirely certain. And his plucky girl assistants, James Robert McCrimmon and astrophysicist Zoe Harriott. Well, they've materialised. Oh, it's very muddy. It's terribly muddy, quite frankly. It's disgusting. And they've materialised in black and white, so they must be in the past. And turns out they are. They're in the First World War. Or are they? The first episode of the War Games, for that is what we're talking about, shows the cruelty of the military system back then. Because, kids, certainly British kids growing up in the 70s, I think there was a comic called Battle, and the main comic strip for that was Charlie's War. About a private who, in the First World War, surviving on the trenches. And military justice in that sort of situation is brutal, sudden, and you don't get to argue with it. And that's essentially what happens to the Doctor. And Jamie and Zoe. However, things are off. Because there's a strange whipping noise with a rising hum of power coming from General Smythe's bedroom. Anybody with a sharp ear out will recognise that sound as being the latter stages of the TARDIS dematerialisation. What could it mean, everyone? Brian, you haven't watched this. What could it mean?
I don't care. No, I'm sorry, but you just seem to have a thing for the old black and white shows.
Archive British television show.
Yeah, I don't.
It's you're on the wrong show, to be honest. Hey, should we do a spin-off?
Ooh, I thought we were the RPG.
That's not a spin-off of this. That's your own thing.
I'm just saying.
To be fair, you could do one where you could talk about all the 80s shit you'd like to talk about. I'd be
Again,
happy
the
with
RPG.
that. I'd be quite happy if you wanted to do that. And I'm not. That's not a hint, by the way. You're still very, very welcome here. It's just I'm trying to find a way of helping you engage. That's all.
It's just I can't get into the old black and white shows. I'm sorry.
Unworthy. Yeah.
Especially
the war games.
Throw it up.
No, can't be asked.
No.
Can't be asked.
I honestly, it doesn't matter to me. What could it mean?
What could it be?
There's
Brian?
another TARDIS on the set. Somebody hit the soundboard at the wrong point in time.
That's fair.
Cybermen are in the background practicing. They're sort of DJing.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
They're grooving out.
We actually did the first 5 episodes of the War Games this week because, being a kind and compassionate overlord, I thought that asking you to do 10 episodes was too much. Which means when Noonan comes back next week, he's going to have to talk about the last 5 episodes of the War Games. I've got no sympathy. None. We did the Pyramids of Mars from last week. Oh, dear. So, turns out, as we all know, that wherever they are, this planetoid, wherever they are, is split into different time zones and periods, where they've basically been, well, we don't know how it actually worked, but for ease of phrase, they've been time scooping up various armies from various wars, continuing the wars in their own little zones, with the barking mad idea that the survivors will be one hell of a task force.
And brainwashing them in the process.
Yeah.
It isn't just scooping them up, placing them down.
Oh, yeah.
There's a brainwashing element that happens.
So it's I don't think they actually thought the plan through enough. So Doctor Who's there, and he's managed to find his way to the alien base, and there is a moment, a rather wonderful moment. You see, the aliens, we shall call them the Warlords, if we must, they have employed a member of the Doctor's species, not the Master. This is before the Master was created.
Is it like the handyman from that other episode?
The Handyman. Oh, do you mean
Handyman.
Drax?
Yeah.
No, it's not Drax. This
The
is well
doctors,
before. No,
school me.
no. But they do know each other. Because they're in this room with all sorts of shit happening, and they just catch each other's eyes across the room, and the Doctor just looks utterly panicked and just tells Zoe to run. It's a shiver down the spine moment. Because you don't expect it in Doctor Who back then. You know? How can he react like that to somebody he's only just met? And the other guy, oh, get them! And, yeah, there's a bit of history there.
He does seem to piss off a lot of people of his own race. Have you noticed that?
Well, that's just it. He didn't technically piss this guy off. The both of them were absolutely terrified that they'd be reported to the Time Lords. One of them's doing good works, one of them's doing bad works. And hence, as we will see later on, the War Chief's attempts to get the Doctor on his side.
So one is Dr. Samuel Beckett, the other is the Evil Leaper.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, yes. I like that. A little bit. as we don't have Spanky, it's down to you, love. Can't hear a word you're saying.
No?
Ah, there we go.
There we go. Okay. There are some really delightful moments in these 5 episodes.
Yes.
I think my favorite one was where the brain technician guy, whose name I don't remember.
He doesn't have a name. It's all right. He doesn't have a name.
Oh, okay. Brain technician guy.
Yeah.
Is reprogramming the lieutenant. And he's trying to say, I've made this new process and it's amazing. And the doctor and Zoe are sitting in the audience pretending to just be 2 more aliens. And the doctor basically baffle-gabs this guy into, well, first of all, not completely doing it, hurting the lieutenant, and then also showing him how by pretending to be a terribly interested student.
Yes.
I'll just sit back here quietly and watch.
Which is
on
just
how
before
to
the moment I mentioned, yeah.
deprogram him. And it's just a really lovely, it's very doctorish.
It's almost
very
as he can't
second
help
doctor-ish.
himself.
Yeah, but
He has
also
to show him being clever.
he is being clever, but also he's recognized what this is. He doesn't quite know how he could use it on a larger scale yet, but he's sure he can. And he's going to learn as much as possible about this just by being very doctorish. I mean, he could demand to know.
You think
but he's
that
just
was in
being
his thoughts back
clever.
then? Even back that early? Okay.
Because he knows what's going on.
Interesting.
I mean, he doesn't know the big picture.
Big.
But he knows that there's been kidnapped people, they've been brainwashed,
Yeah.
they can be deprogrammed.
Yes.
So he knows all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he's already thinking, how could I actually use this? And it's a lovely little moment. Meanwhile, poor Jamie and the nurse, Lady somebody or other.
No, not Lady Carstairs. Lady Jennifer Buckingham.
That's her, who I quite like.
I liked her husband.
They just keep getting kidnapped. Or
It
not
does
even
seem a bit
kidnapped.
like that, doesn't it?
They can't get out of this barn. They're like, we're gonna escape. Never mind.
You're not.
We're gonna get out. No, we've been put back. Like they just get. Obviously, they had one set, and they needed to keep them in the set. And at least it's not a jail cell. At least it's an interesting barn.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to be in the middle of the American Civil War era. There are some interesting elements to their conception of the American Civil War, but never mind.
Well, it's the same as Brits trying to do
Oh,
westerns.
the American accents are cute. Let's put it that way.
Oh, bless.
They're cute.
God bless you, Mary Poppins.
Bless their hearts, they tried.
Yeah.
Which is a terrible, terrible insult.
It is.
Southerner. If somebody says to you, "Oh, bless your heart," that's not good.
It's not. You done fucked up bad.
Yeah. But it's interesting. I mean, I think there is too much get captured, try to escape, get captured, there's a little too much of that going on, but by
it's
doing
sold
that,
well, isn't it?
well, by doing that, what they do is they reveal the different layers. So
Yes.
first they're captured by Yankees.
Germans. Oh,
Then
sorry.
they're captured by the Confederates. Then you see that somebody's, a war chief or somebody is controlling that person because they go through like, you're a spy. No, I'm not. I just told you I wasn't. Yes, you are. Like they all, and then you have the resistance that we get revealed that there's soldiers who've broken the brainwashing and can travel between and
time
have
zones.
created a resistance.
Yes. Well, different pockets of resistance, as we will
Yes.
find out.
Yes, as
They're,
they have
they're
different
very
resistance.
separated, unfortunately.
and
Then
I
they're
forgot to
together.
say, but part of the Jamie gets captured again and again and again because you think Jamie would be the most useful person in this situation because he was a soldier. But they keep just getting him captured. He doesn't actually in any of these. I mean, he has some fisticuffs, but
I sort of like it. Simply because it's showing just how difficult this particular one is. Every time he tries to do something, it goes wrong.
Well, and part
Which
of the
feeds
reason,
into the ending.
yes, well, and they're so into. You've got the levels, like physical and not metaphorical, but like logistical, I guess.
Go on.
You have the soldiers on the ground, right?
Yeah.
Who mostly don't know that they're in anything other than the battles they think they're fighting with the enemies they think they're fighting.
Yep.
Then you've got kind of their puppet masters,
Yep. The generals and the like.
right? Who are controlling the individuals in their things and communicating between units.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the people who are kind of masterminding the generals
That would be
and controlling them,
That'd be the war chief, yes.
right? And the scientists and all that kind of thing, like
The behind the scenes boys.
behind the scenes, right? And then you get the feeling that there's something running that, like there's a reason this is all being done.
Oh, there is someone running that, and you will meet him, I suspect, next week.
So there's all these different levels, and so trying to get something done on the ground level, as it were, is always frustrated because you don't know you're being watched, but you are. So there's always people multiple steps ahead of you.
This is why I say it feeds into the ending, but we need to get to the ending first before we can talk about it.
I did like the delightful little part the first time Jamie's captured, and he's in a special military prison
With a red coat.
with a red coat, and he teams up with the red coat,
Yeah.
and the doctor blusters his way in, and that was another delightful doctor thing.
Oh, pretending to be the prison inspector.
Yes.
Yes, how dare you!
Yes, where's your ID? How dare you ask me for ID? It's a wonderful, very doctorish thing.
And it doesn't really go 100%. He over-eggs it. And
Yes.
Gorton, the camp commandant, gets suspicious and decides to do some double-checking. And that's when Zoe clubs him across the head.
She should. He had it coming, frankly.
Oh, dear.
Zoe's pretty good in this. I mean,
Oh,
she does spend a lot
she's
of time
a good
being
companion. I do like her as a companion.
but she has a lot to do. And she occasionally, I mean, she gets interrogated by the brain thing. And they're like, the guy's like, you know, you were born in, you know, when were you born? I was born in. He's giving her,
in...
he gives her sentence fragments to fill in, like a worksheet.
I'm sorry, let's just take a moment to appreciate James Bree's security chief. Never knowingly subtle. Coming up, we'll have a great thing. The war chief will say, "Oh, what a fool you are," and the security chief will turn around, "No, what a fool you are," and it's oh, it's blissful
They have
for all
such
the
a
wrong
little,
reasons.
such a little antagonistic relationship, the two of them. I
Yep.
really think maybe they just need to go away for a weekend together. Maybe that's just what needs to happen.
Get
and
rid-
then
You need a
they-
couples
Cameron.
away time.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Then they wouldn't have to have this whole charade.
Outside this war, they'd be the best of friends. If this hadn't happened. I mean, who knew? So, did you enjoy the first 5 episodes of The War Games?
I did. I do think it's a little long,
There are
but most of
reasons
these
for
tend
that.
to be.
There's a reason for that, and it's accidental. Another story got cancelled, and so suddenly Terence Dix, who was taking over as script editor, practically taken over by then actually, suddenly had a 10-part gap. So he got his old mate Malcolm Hulkin, and they bashed the War Games out between them. And as always with Doctor Who, necessity being the mother of invention, comes out with something good. And yes, it is overlong, but it's full of brio. It doesn't rest too much, and so it still keeps the interest. It does.
Trust Uncle Terence.
Yeah, exactly.
To have, okay, we've got 4 sets and 6 actors, and you've got a 10-parter. Go. Oh,
Well,
and $1.50 is your budget.
And the good
Go.
well, the good thing about this is that because it's set in historical Earth periods, the BBC's got that sort of scenery on hand, left, right, and centre,
Yeah.
so they can just wheel it out. So that's quite cheap. The only sets they had to pay for were the aliens
Sort of
HQ.
space station-y one.
Yeah, and another set that we will talk about next week. I'm trying
Well,
to
and
save
those sets are-
spoilers.
Yes, those sets are very modular. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't take a chunk of this and move it over here and use it. It feels very
They really got into that in the 70s.
as if the aliens
80s.
built it from flat pack.
Yeah. 80s Doctor Who sets were deliberately designed to be modular, and you could the TARDIS inside the TARDIS, for example. You know, they had certain sections that could be used and reused, and you know, it's yes, the war
It
games.
makes good sense.
We can't really go into too much because, like I say, it's only the first 5 episodes. But any standout characters for you apart from the regulars?
Oh, the nurse. I really like her. And then the lieutenant, who's just... I think the audience's connection with him is pretty immediate, but then he's one of the ones who stands by at the court-martial and does nothing, and we know why, but the characters don't. The Doctor doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie and Zoe don't. But we know that he's been brainwashed. So then we have this little element of dramatic irony where we know something that the characters don't. And so we still like him, even though the characters feel that he betrayed them. And then he goes out on an act of bravery.
Yes, doesn't he just?
Um,
He hold enough the Americans, else they just got away.
and we're very pleased to see that he isn't dead.
Yes, we're very
At least
pleased to
I was
see
very
that.
pleased to see
In
that
fact,
he wasn't dead.
I think it's fair to say that him and Lady Jennifer survived the war games.
As they should.
And there's a lot of fan talk about those two getting together after the war.
Well, of course they would.
Depends whether Carstairs actually survived the real war.
Well, I like that. I like Lady Jennifer as well, because you can just see her riding up in her ambulance.
That's the producer's wife.
Really? Oh, well done. Sorting things out. Telling people they've been ridiculous. And just
Jolly hockey
making it
sticks.
happen.
Yeah, no nonsense woman,
Yes.
which is what World War One needed. More of.
Well, World War One as a concept and as a reality makes me deeply angry.
Yes, all wars do.
Well, all wars do, but sometimes wars... I mean, it's a stupid way to solve problems because, as the Doctor said, eventually you've all got to sit down and do peace, so why don't you do that to start
I
with?
still say if there's going to be a war, fair enough, let the politicians fight it.
I say it should not be on the table. It's not an option. So y'all sort yourselves out.
Well, that's why I say what I say, because if they have to fight it, they'll fucking sort it out. Believe me, they don't want to get shot at.
But the idea that young men were told,
Time for it.
or you're too young, go away and have 2 birthdays and come back.
Yeah.
And as somebody who caretakes teenagers, it's horrific. I mean, it was horrific in every possible conceivable way and stupid.
Okay.
Just stupid.
Put a pin in that just for a second. All right. I will allow you to continue. Listen to me. You can carry on ranting in a second because we're going to switch subject.
Okay.
To the Great Martian War. Brian, did you get a chance to see this?
Yeah, I loved it.
There we go. Basically, the events leading up to the First World War are happening. Germany's about to go nuts. And suddenly Germany goes quiet. Very quiet indeed. What the fuck's happening? Eventually they found out that Martians from Mars in space.
No. What happened was they observed some flares or something in the vicinity of Mars.
No one
And-
would have believed.
And from that they gathered it was Martians, but they never confirmed that was actually Martians.
Whoa, Mr.
They could have
Context.
come from deeper, another planet, and come in from that vicinity.
This is essentially trying to tell War of the Worlds is during the period of the First World War, where the First World War doesn't happen. It's the war against the Martians. And they only get to Europe, it seems. And it is told, and this is where I start to have a problem with this, it is told using doctored footage of World War One. So I have to ask the question, is it right for us to use footage of such tragedy and such horror for our entertainment? This was a
They
History
weren't
Channel
showing
thing, by
any
the way.
tragedy and horror. They were just showing people running. It could have been It could have been done with a black and white camera quite easily, and just computerized the Martians going into it.
So you think it was the whole thing was fake? They didn't use official original footage?
It didn't matter if it was fake or not. It could have been done that way.
You see,
It could have
I
been
feel
done another
very
way.
uncomfortable about it. I don't think stuff like that, proper footage of those times like that, should be used for entertainment value. I find that awkward. It makes me. It sits uneasy with me. It's
I mean, what did they show? They showed bombed out buildings.
yeah.
They showed a bunch of guys in World War One dress. They didn't show any of the true no man's land.
Yes, they did.
They didn't. No, they showed a area that was bombed out. They didn't show no man's land. They didn't show the bodies laying in the mud.
Well, the bodies.
However,
There's a
they did
reason for that.
imply that the human dead from the Martian attacks were simply left there and ground into the ground. I believe the
Yes.
older lady said her father perished that way.
Yes. She was a bit nasty. She had a chip in her shoulder, that one. Being pesky aliens again.
It did have an interesting ending, though.
Go on.
When they broke the Martian code,
Mm-hmm.
they found out that the reason that those aliens had come to Earth was because of their liquid metal was a parasite that controlled them and wanted to spread.
Now that's interesting. I didn't see that part.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if I found a fuller version of it for you to watch.
I looked it up online.
Oh, right. Okay. This is a
I
History
looked it
Channel
up
thing.
on YouTube. So
And yeah, it's interesting to see, but it's like I say, it sits uneasy with me. What about you, a little bit? You're talking about the World War One just now.
Yeah, I watched this one. Yeah, I can't speak to footage I didn't watch, but I find the entirety of World War One very, very frustrating. And anger making at the adults who should have been in charge and chose not to be, who treated people's lives like a game. That sort of behavior makes me very angry.
If anybody wants a slightly easier way of doing this, it doesn't lack in packing its punches, but you'll be laughing as well. Well, up until 5 minutes before the end, I would watch the 4th series of Blackadder. Blackadder Goes Forth, which is set in World War One, and a lot of the stupidity is exposed. Not for the first time, obviously, but
And inevitably does end in tears.
it does end in tears, literal tears, because when I watched that when it was originally broadcast, we didn't know what was going to happen. And that happened, and it was just... This is Blackadder, for Christ's sakes. Yes, at the end of each story, each episode, each series, I'm so sorry, they get killed. The first Blackadder, they all get killed with poison. The second Blackadder, Hugh Laurie's German master spy kills them all off and ends up as Queen Elizabeth. Blackadder third, it looks like Edmund's been killed, but no, he's survived, luckily. Unfortunately, the Prince Regent doesn't. So Edmund ends up as the Prince Regent because his father's like saying cuckoo all the time. Pengvang. But so it was amusing endings.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't. The ending to Blackadder Goes Forth is not amusing. The jokes stop, and suddenly the reality of it hits home, and you think something's going to happen. No, it doesn't. So yeah, I wouldn't call it a historical accurate documentary in the slightest sense of the word, except to say it does show the tragedy. It does. So as a literary, you didn't see it. That's no point.
No, I didn't see it.
Be fascinated to hear Spanky's views, to be honest. But that's whether he's had a chance to see it or not. Did I mention Spanky to everybody at home? We don't have him tonight. We wish him the very best and we love him. So that's The Great Martian War. It's on YouTube. Go and watch it. See if you agree with me that it's a bit tasteless. It's interesting to watch, but it just sits wrong. That's how I felt about it. Brian, you loved it.
Yeah, it was fun. I like this alternate history
but
stuff.
But it was black and white, Brian.
No, it wasn't.
So, that's two of the three things we're going to talk about tonight.
If you really want to get into the alternate history stuff, I got some things for you.
I might be interested in that. Depends what it is. Depends on the subject matter, but I might actually be interested in that. I do like what ifs, essentially.
This is so far to the left, it's not even a what if.
But please don't say The Man in the High Castle, because that's so dull. So dull. Oh.
So dull, my butt.
So, Vincenzi needs a holiday.
Poor Vincenzo.
And that's his name. Thank you very much. I'm glad someone corrected me. And oh dear, so tired. And he's going away on a cruise, and it's going to be lovely. And then New York phone up, and suddenly he's not going away on a cruise.
No, because the auditors are showing up.
Yeah.
And his accounting may or may not be entirely
a little shaky,
accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kolchak ends up with the tickets. The whole idea is he has to write. It's a swinging cruise. How 70s
it's a singles
is this?
Cruise.
Yeah.
It's not a swinging cruise.
Oh, fuck off. It's a swinging cruise.
Swingers cruise is way different.
So the way they were each... that's one thing that got me about this, the way the men treated the women, almost as objects. That really did fuck me off.
Welcome to 1970s America.
Exactly. Well, it was the same over here, love. It was. You can't take the whole blame for that, most of it. But
no, I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying, welcome to 1970s America.
No, it's... And, okay, fair enough, he goes off on the cruise. Nice. And then somebody gets attacked. And somehow Kolchak gets wind of it. And we then have a Kolchak episode on a ship instead of a police station. Yeah, there's a werewolf on board. Ex-NATO personnel who got bitten. And he's turning into a wolf. And the wolf keeps jumping around and throwing people, because that's what wolves do. Pushing them overboard.
As you pointed out, that is how people die in this show.
Yes. Yeah, they get thrown. Yeah.
They fly through the air with the greatest of ease, and it's the landing that kills them.
The stunt agencies must have loved them. That's all I'm saying. Okay, we
They
need
clearly-
5 more bodies to fly through the air, please.
They clearly all invested in little trampolines.
Yes. Boingy.
And they have an empty pool, because this is the ship's last cruise, and it's getting retired and scrapped at the end of this. So there's parts of the ship that are no longer in use, including a big empty pool, where a massacre takes place.
It was horrible. Horrible it was.
Awful.
Horrible.
I mean, they were just getting tossed around and died instantly from being tossed around.
The one
Yes.
thing I do like is Brian has not basically tried to stand up for this one.
No.
He said, no, I know it's bad.
I like this one, and here's why.
No, good. Go for it.
Excellent. Oh, I like it. It's just bad.
Oh, yeah.
Well, okay, there's two things that this does that other ones don't, or at least the ones we've seen so far don't, which is that this monster is a reluctant monster
Yes.
who is actively trying not to hurt other people.
Yes.
Yes.
And simply cannot, like, literally at one point chains himself to the bed and deals drugs to sedate himself
Yes.
to prevent himself from hurting others, which doesn't work.
No.
But he understands that something's happening to him. It was an accident. We don't really know what happened, but a whole bunch of people from his expedition got this. His posting got this, and a bunch of them died. And then there's been killings in the Midwest. Wolf killings.
Wolf.
And he's trying to... he's a tragic figure.
Yes, I'll agree with that.
And the other thing that this does is that Kolchak's sidekick
For
in
this
this.
episode.
For this episode, right. His
Woman of the
female
week.
sidekick for this episode.
Yeah, Woman of the Week.
Is great. She's funny.
Yeah. Yes, I would agree.
She's clever.
Yes.
She only somewhat perks up with his shenanigans.
Yes.
And every scene she's in, you're watching her.
Fair. No, good.
And you always knew that,
She was the special guest star, so...
yes. Well, and you know her from other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Do you? That's nice.
Okay, she's the Russian in Hogan's Heroes.
I know Hogan's
you
Heroes,
definitely-
I don't know that.
Oh.
Really?
I know Hogan's Heroes, I just don't know that bit.
Okay, she's the one who's always wearing the fur coat and...
In that case, no.
And I put up a link in the chat, but she's in The Cool Ones. I would not recommend that film. It's a ridiculous film. It's not very good. But
But you
she's
still put
great
a
in
link
it.
there, thank you. Good.
Yes. Well.
You're going to
Mel-
confuse Spanky.
Malcolm McDowell's in it.
Mm-hmm.
They play a sort of twosome. They're very funny. Skip all the rest of it. It's not good. Just watch the bits they're in. Anyway, she was one of those actresses who was just constantly working, and had been for a very long time at this point. And so she's this sort of go-to-it character. She's on this cruise to meet a guy and have a good time. But she's obsessed with classic movies.
That I thought was a nice touch.
Yeah, classic black and white films. And at one point, Kolchak's like trying to talk her into being a distraction.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, remember the time in that film where that thing happened? And she's like,
Bogart.
that never happened in that film.
Yeah. It's like every time Ryan tries to get me to believe something happened in Doctor Who, and I know better.
And I thought for a minute that she was going to be a distraction by being, sexy or something. No, it's that her contact fell out.
Yes. Fair dues. Good on her.
Which is a terribly...
And
I
then
had
it does fall out.
Yes, and I had just watched Noises Off,
Oh,
where a running gag is about her contact falling out.
where can one watch that?
I rented it on Amazon
Okay.
for like $1 and something.
Righty-ho.
Which I'm glad I rented it because it's not a great film, but it's a fun for now
the
film.
stage show's superb. Well,
Yes,
depending on
I've seen the stage show, and that was great. I think the film, just because it isn't live, there's parts where you lose the energy.
Yeah. No.
That the laughter would have carried forward.
Yes. No, with you on
But
that.
Michael Caine's in it, doing a Michael Caine.
I bloody told you I did. I can't do Michael Caine. Dave wasn't too bad at it, Michael Caine.
He did a pretty good Michael Caine, and we watched a lot of very, very terrible Michael Caine films.
There were some bad ones. There's some absolutely superb ones. But
Jaws the Revenge is not on the list of the superb ones.
Sorry?
Jaws the Revenge is not on the list.
No,
of
no,
the
it
superb
isn't.
ones.
Strange that, isn't it?
No.
Still, it probably bought him a new house.
Probably. So this one's, I think, fun because you still have all the staples of what you expect. And the captain keeps threatening to have
He was like Crichton coming out of Space Corps directives.
Shackled in irons.
They're like, you don't have those anymore. He's like, yeah, but we could make some.
God, can you imagine being stuck on a cruise ship with Kolchak? Doesn't matter where you were on the ship, you'd hear him.
It's like being stuck on a cruise ship with the Murder, She Wrote lady. You're dead.
Murder
Think
by
about
death.
it.
So,
Actually, there were a lot of very similar scenes to the Murder She Wrote episode on the ship.
Oh, yeah.
I'm also
It's
thinking you
hilarious.
could possibly splice in footage from the Love Boat. But,
Possibly.
so,
His cabin mate is great in
he's
this.
a sexist pig.
Well, he is, but then you get to the twist where you realize it's his ex-wife, and this is just what they're into.
Yeah. They've been
Which
split
is they
for
get
about
together-
3 years, and every now and again
And
they
now
meet each
we're
other.
cool.
Fair dues. Fair dues.
She seems to be very into it.
I have a question.
Yes.
Where did Kolchak get the rifle from? The shotgun?
Which shotgun?
He used a
Oh,
shotgun.
the one that
With shotgun
Oh,
shells that he put silver
yeah.
into.
That's all explained because you've got the porter guy
Yeah.
who's like, I can get you anything. Anything you want, I can get it for you because he steals it from other people.
So you think
sells
it
stuff
was
on.
George?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he told George he needed it, and George was like, all right, I got you.
You see, I don't remember seeing that scene.
No, they didn't show us, but he got him a bunch of other stuff, so
So
you just
we
assume that's how he got it.
assume it rather than... Okay, so it's still a magic shotgun.
Yeah, but there's an explanation, because he got everything else he's using from George.
Okay.
So, yeah. And there is that element where he's in the stateroom going, this is a nice suitcase. And they're like, it's not ours. Put it down.
I like George. It was so sad. So that was... I'm sorry, I can't... I mean, Brad, you got anything more to say about this? Apart from
the makeup.
apologising?
The makeup on the Wolfman
Woof.
It's not good.
is not anywhere near good.
It's not good.
Ah!
It would be better if they did the invisible thing from the other time.
I think this is what this episode is what drove Rick Baker to do such good Wolfman makeup. He saw how crappy it could be, and is like, yeah, no, we gotta fix
When we
this.
do this, we're gonna do it properly.
Yeah.
It's thanks for that, Brian.
Yeah, no problem.
Cheers. What's next week's?
What is next week's?
That's what I asked you.
I don't think it's Firefall. I think it's something else. Let's go into the look-see here. Oh no, it is Firefall. I
Firefall,
was
thank
right.
you very much. I shall watch that this week and hate you even more. I don't give me your view. I want to make my own mind up, to be honest. Just let me do that.
This deals with two psychic phenomenon that are totally separate, but tries to weave them together.
Okay, fair enough. Well, we'll see what's what. I'm trying to give it a fair go here, Brian.
Yeah,
I
see
understand.
this one, so this will be good.
Okay.
Remember, we have to tell Andrew when we're going to be doing Horror in the Heights.
Yes, I'm relying on you to Reykjavik me about
Reykjavik.
that. I'm now going to make an extra association to the word Reykjavik. Okay, good. So, next week on The Flashing Blade, we've got the last 5 episodes of the Warzone. The Warzone? The War Games. I'm so sorry.
War Games.
I'm dead. We've got Big Finish, Unit, Nemesis Part 4. Which I don't know how easy that's going to be to listen to now, as we haven't really looked at the first ones, the first 3. But it does have Missy in it, so that'll be fun. And Osgood. We like Osgood.
We do like Osgood.
We like Osgood a lot. And Harry. Harry's going to be there.
I like Harry.
Harry's everywhere at Big Finish at the moment. It's wonderful. I love Harry. More Harry, please. Harry and Strax. There's a spin-off.
They would annoy each other so much.
It would be magnificent. Well, they could sit around and commiserate about the
Unit
Doctor.
Part 4, you said?
Yep, Nemesis Part 4. Link for which will appear very shortly. Kolchak Firefall. And fingers crossed, Quatermass 2.
Oh, we forgot to do the
I haven't done Children of the
Stone.
Stones, have I? Jesus,
No.
I did tell you I was bad. Yeah, so that's next week. Before we go, we will.
I
talk
posted
about...
it for Spanky.
Thank you, my love.
Thank you.
Children of the Stones. Whaley Women again. I hate Whaley Women. Anyway, they find out a little bit more, and Di's got a thing, and which is either clay or stone, and turns out that the top his nibs person, Ian Cuthbertson von Stoff, very, very, very into the history of the Stones and the village.
And used to be an astronomer or
Used to
something,
be an astronomer.
right?
Yes.
Noticed that the stars were all aligned to where a black hole is, but it used to be a supernova back then. And so there's a link there somewhere. Ian Cuthbertson's character is coming across as a bit creepy in places. He was a little bit too enthusiastic about that. Adam, I think that's his name, survives contact with the stone. One of his schoolboy friends goes to the big table because he's worked out a very complex equation, and
his dad has started Morris dancing.
yes, and his dad couldn't stand Morris dancing. I should have warned people we were going to talk about Morris dancing. I'm so sorry. Take a moment, all right?
He and his father became happy day people.
They became very happy day people because the cliffhanger is in the kiddie basically being centre of the celebrations.
Yes.
The trouble is, I'm watching it on YouTube and I can't quite tell where the episode endings are, so I'm having to play guessing games here. So yeah, interesting. As I think I said last week, I'm not sure, but if it didn't have that effing music, it would be really good. I find that music just...
You know what I think that music is more like?
Please.
Is that when everyone is dragged to church and they have to sing, only they're not quite into it, and they're just making noise rather than singing.
Reminds me of the Exelons from Death to the Daleks, just on a higher register. I was asking me if it was Pertwee who
Now,
was singing.
did this episode come with
A warning?
No, Di's little pendant.
Yeah.
Okay. Does it explain it at all?
No, but they take like a cast of it and they're
Yes.
looking at it and they're talking about, and the kids team up with the adults to sort of try and figure out, oh, it looks like a snake, maybe
It's a
it
mystery.
means this,
It's
like
a
that kind of
mystery.
thing.
The piece of the amulet from the barber surgeon?
They haven't
Skeleton?
connected those two yet,
Okay.
The barber
as far as I
surgeon.
remember.
Why do you say the barber surgeon?
The
Because
guy who got squished by the rock
guy
and
who
they've
got
got his
squished,
corpse
that's
in the
his-
museum.
that's the skeleton's name, barber surgeon.
Yeah, he was a barber surgeon.
I find that very interesting. There's a Big Finish connection there. Okay, thank you.
The black hole thing is really interesting. The idea of a star going supernova, and this being set up so long ago that it's before the star went supernova, or somebody saw it go, and so this has kind of all been set up.
Isn't Beetlejuice supposed to go pop at some stage soon?
At some point soon, they're thinking within the
Relatively,
next 100
yeah.
years or so.
But
Or
it
Belching
kind of
as I used
echoes
to call it.
the
Beetlejuice.
the myths about the Pleiades, the seven sisters, right?
Mhm.
Except there's only 6 of them visible because 2 are so close, have moved so close together that they're not visible with the naked eye anymore. But the times when they would have been visible as 7 separate stars is something like 10,000 years
It's
ago.
almost as if astrology was a load of old bollocks.
Well-
I'm saying this quite deliberately because we know you watch this show, Ncuti Gatwa. Astrology is a load of bollocks. There we go.
Well, not astrology.
Astronomy.
No, I'm just
Astronomy.
taking the opportunity to tell him
Oh,
off.
and the mythology that cultures have tied into that, and because lots of cultures have the 7-star cluster stories. But it would have been so long ago that there were 7 visible without telescopes and things. It's just really, really interesting. So the idea of playing on this, that somebody saw this go supernova, and it kind of that they set this up to channel that power, worship it, whatever it is that they did.
And that the entire town is built on a granite slab that's
channeling all that
pitch.
power. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an interesting idea. And-
Archaeoastronomy is really neat if you really look into it.
What astronomy, my love?
Archaeoastronomy.
Ooh. I've never heard that term before. I understand it, but that's interesting. I like that. Archaeoastronomy. Yeah, that's good.
And there was a
It's
lot
rather
of this
lolly.
kind of stuff happening in the 70s too, wasn't there?
Lovely.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
The
round
Time
about the
Life
time
books. I remember those vividly.
Van Deacon or whatever his name is with the aliens and ancient Earth.
Van
That was
Daniken.
very big
Van
around the
Daniken.
time. That time.
All this sort of pseudoscience, fringy.
Yeah.
Nostradamus. That's when he's.
Well, they used to think that
big time.
that whatchamacallit, crustal displacement was pseudoscience.
What's displacement?
Continental drift.
Ah, thank you. That's what I thought you meant. I just wasn't
Yeah.
sure if I'd caught the first word properly.
They used to think that was pseudoscience. They used to think that no, the North Pole has always been the North Pole and will always be the North Pole. No, it hasn't.
Well,
It's
the more
moved.
we
Not
the
only
more
has it
we-
moved, but it's flopped.
And it's melting.
but
because
the
of
more
us.
we learn, the more we know. We realize we don't know,
Yes.
which is sort of the beauty of science.
I was about to say, isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
One of the
If only
neat
we'd
things they've
actually
done-
listened to science when it warned.
One of the neat things they've actually done is they've taken ancient megalithic sites, like the pyramids and stuff, and they've tracked it because they're aligned on the cardinal points, north, south, east, and west. But their north hits a point that's not the North Pole now, but was then. And there are a whole bunch of sites lined up like that,
It's impressive when
just
you
like
think about it.
ring around the whole
World.
Arctic.
But yeah, it is. Sorry, it just reminds me of a story I once wrote. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I can keep going with Children of the Stones.
Yeah, this was very much
We
a
won't be doing it next week, but
we're figuring things out. We're starting to get some clues, but a thing has happened. Like they told us, oh, people become one of them. Well, now we've seen that happen.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the like, oh no, who's next?
yeah. So, Quatermass 2 next week instead. However, keep an eye on the server chat because if Stephen can't make it, we'll just do the next episode of Children of the Stones. I'm glad it's that way round because I don't want to have to suddenly ask you to. Oh, mind you, we're doing it episodically. No, we're doing all of it. Shit, we're not doing it episodically. Yeah, I wouldn't want to get you to watch Quatermass 2 and as an emergency substitute.
Oh.
You know, I'm
already
glad
happened,
it's Children of the
so.
Stones. It's only a half hour, you know. So yeah.
Also, I put a lot of links for alternate history stuff
okay,
into the chat there.
Okay.
General.
okay, I'll have a look. The what are you doing next week, Brian? Excuse me.
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
You know,
General
I-
shenaniganery.
Oh, she's used it again.
Oh.
Whoa!
Fill out your bingo card.
Flashing Blade bingo. God.
You should make one. It would be good.
Yeah, but
How many times does Brian show up drunk to the show?
The trouble is, it's this. We've got such a history now. There's so many different things we could put on that bingo card.
So you have cards for different eras of the show.
Eras. It's not an
Eras.
Well, most
How many
people would
times
say
does
it's an
Eddie
error.
say mudder?
Mudder.
Mudder.
A mudder. It's got the deed.
How many times? How many times does Spanky's Wi-Fi go out?
He's a quantum event. He can't be helped. We're never sure if he's there or not. He could
Is
be
that
both.
really water, or is that just straight vodka Brian's drinking? You know, things like that.
The thing is that you'd have to admit it one way or the other so that people could tick their card off.
I will someday. But remember, AA is for quitters, and I never quit anything in my life.
Doesn't take me long to get nothing done. Sorry, I've been wanting to use that line for a while. It just suddenly came into my head. Don't know why. It's a similar sort of thing. I'm sorry, I'm tired. Right. Lubin, what are you doing next week?
I got my COVID jab tomorrow. My
Hooray!
booster.
Which one is it? What number?
Oh gosh. 4 or 5 now, I think. But I had my last one before Thanksgiving last November. So I'm due, and I go back to work in 2 and a bit weeks. So before I go, all the children and all the germs,
Yeah,
I want
I
to
think you're very wise.
Yeah,
support
probably
the immune
does.
system a little bit.
Yeah, no, I haven't had the 5th shot yet. I think I missed
I
it.
haven't had my 4th yet.
Yeah, but you don't do people. To be fair.
The
so-
last
Do
time,
enough of them.
the last time was fine. The time before, they gave me a slightly hard time about it. Well, because they're like, well, do you really need it? Yes, I really need it.
Yes.
Go ahead and get.
That's
we
when you
all-
say,
thank
I'm a
you.
teacher, I'm going into a plague pit. Jab.
Well,
Basically,
and-
say your friend's a teacher. She's had COVID 4 times because of it, and I'm not kidding. This
Yeah.
is my friend.
And we have mitigation in the classroom, which helps. But I also have immune system issues. So let's just protect ourselves.
yes, quite right too. Quite right.
And so I've got that Monday,
Remain
and so I
indoors.
haven't planned anything else until Friday. I haven't had any bad reactions other than a little soreness and a little, but I want to make sure that I have space to just rest if I want to rest. And then Friday, I'm having going home to a friend's house playing cards. That'll be a lot of fun.
Our card evening, brilliant.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yes. And then if I feel up to it, and if there are still tickets, I might go see Barbie this weekend.
Fair enough. I think you're allowed. We're going to allow that, aren't we, Brian? Oh, your viewpoint doesn't matter.
She doesn't need our permission.
Nope. Did my
She's
nails.
a grown-ass woman. She can do what she wants.
They look orange, but they're not. They're pink.
No. They
See?
look orangey.
She's
They look
a Barbie girl
they
in
look
a Barbie world.
They look like salmon, smoked salmon.
They do. In person, they don't. They're sort of a metallic dark pink, but
Okay.
on here with the light, it does look orange.
Fair enough. Right,
but-
I've got my PIP assessment next Friday over the phone. That has happened very quickly, and I'm rather suspicious about it.
Ooh.
Normally
okay.
it takes Christ knows how long. But it's not a drive up somewhere to have an assessment. It's being done over the electric telephone. It's going to be done at
So
5 o'clock on the Friday, which means I won't get the phone call at all because they'll be running late and they'll want to go home, and I'll have to wait for another appointment. I guarantee. If I'm wrong, I'll tell you next Sunday. All right. But I reckon that's what's going to happen. I hope it doesn't. I'm intrigued. It's gone so quickly, though. I'm rather suspicious about that.
I mean, hopefully it's right. Yes, we've dealt with her before. We already know all her issues. Let's just have a quick phone chat and check this off and move it through.
It doesn't work like that. Their job is to actually stop people claiming, even genuine people.
Yeah, well, that shouldn't be a job.
Well, I know, but it is. It's,
I'm sorry if that's your job.
And
It's
you're
a bad
not really
job.
talking to a medical professional 9 times out of 10. Oh, so, yeah. So I've got that coming up. Aside from that, I don't think I've got anything happening this week at all, which is nice because the state I'm in at the moment, I need to rest.
Yes.
I'll be doing some reading. That would be nice. I do like reading. Been talking to Adam about the conservatory. It's going to be a very narrow conservatory. So I need to, at some stage, I need to get someone to come along, take measurements, and come up with ideas.
Mm-hmm.
That I have to wait and see on that one, I think. But it's not going to happen until next year anyway. But I've got plans for so much next year. It's pretty
That
bad.
magical time when then everything will happen.
Yeah, basically. New car, hopefully. Probably a conservatory rather than moving. I don't want to move. And 4K everything, and the best money computers can buy, and an Xbox SOX, whatever the latest one is. I'll have bought it just in time for the next one to be released.
That's how they work.
They know. They wait.
When you buy it, that's their signal to release it.
It is. That's exactly it, Brian.
Go!
I mean, I don't use my Xbox to play games. I use it mainly only as a media server. I watch all my streaming apps and YouTube and whatever from the Xbox. That's it. That's all I use it for. But you've got to keep it updated because eventually it stops getting support. So, plus I'll have a 4K. It has a 4K playability thing. So,
I'll be honest. We have a 4K Fire TV. My grammar is still changing. But I don't actually notice that much of a difference.
Adam said that. So, but this is an old television that I've got. So,
And it depends on, like, we had a nice HD one before, and we just moved it upstairs.
fair enough.
But it's fine. It looks good. But I don't actually notice that. I mean, maybe if you were watching like live sports or something where it was super crystal clear or whatever.
Mm-hmm. But I don't watch live sports.
No, and most of what you
Cricket,
watch was
maybe
not
cricket.
really filmed for even an HD television. It was filmed for, stand on the other side of the room and hold the
Fair.
bunny ears and hope.
But it's future-proofing, basically, because everything's getting old, so I need to replace it. Also, I've got to replace the sound system as well, because the HDMI ports on that have all died.
Oh.
That's one of those things. It's all right. My remote control on that's gone again. Second remote control, same thing happened. The buttons under the volume control stopped working. And
You need to take it apart and clean it.
That's interesting. I'm not going to dispute that. I will look into it. Can't do it tonight. Hands don't work. But, yeah. That's an interesting point, Brian. Thank you.
No problem. I had that issue with one of my old TVs, and the remote just stopped working after a while.
It's only those two
took it
buttons,
apart
so
and-
that's making me think it might be that.
Yeah, so I just took it apart and cleaned it off, and a little rubbing alcohol.
Okay, thank you. Have another lolly. That's 2 tonight. You've done really well. A little bit. You haven't had any. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
It's just not good enough. Iraq. Space and intertime directional robotical purpose transporters. Anyone? No? Anybody guessed what I'm doing with the song lyrics?
Song lyrics.
At the
You were
start- at the
saying
start
song
of the show.
lyrics?
Yeah, at the start of the show.
Oh,
What
no,
were
what
they?
have you done?
Oh, I'm not telling you. You've got to work it out. It's an
Okay,
ongoing...
well, what did you sing at the start of the show?
I don't know. I'll just say, running through memories like thieves in the night, clutching emotions holding too tight. There we go.
I know.
Go on. Yeah.
I got it.
Okay, go on.
1984, John Hurt.
Damn, so close. So close. But so far. Brian, you had my hopes up there. Oh, man. We need an awkward pause just to consider that. Anyway, yeah. A little bit's giving us the pitying look.
That's right, she should.
Yes, to be fair. Oh, dear. I've forgotten what I was saying. Oh, yeah, no, I'm doing a thing with the song lyrics. So you're going to have to go back to the start of every show for the last few weeks. Listen to the song lyrics.
How
I
long?
quote.
How far back do they have to go?
Hang on. 2, 3, 4 shows, and it's the show that has me going ting 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 ting.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Ting 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 ting. It was an instrumental.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I could get you to say it again.
That's all right. I'm happy to. Ting 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 ting. Fwa. Yes. So I'm doing a thing. There will be a lolly. I know, right? For the first person who works out what I'm doing.
Are we going to sing Joe is making a thing at you?
You've not heard that one, have you? The Scorchies, Big Finish. Oh, it's basically Joe Grant meets the Muppets.
We're going to have to play the Portsmouth Symphonia at some point.
I feel we should. Well, be my funeral. Also, Sprach Zarathustra, played by the Portsmouth Symphonia. And that's the last thing.
It'll bring a
people will
tear
hear.
to your eye a little bit.
Oh dear.
A tear.
It'll
From
be such
pain,
a-
I suspect.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes. They get thrown out if they learn how to play their instrument.
Oh, good.
And I just
So
think,
a high school band.
yes, essentially.
Not quite as good.
No.
Listen, I sat through a middle school production
Oh, dear.
of High School Musical. They got halfway through, forgot their lines, and started over.
Oh my giddy godfathers.
The whole thing. It was some
Torture?
form of the circle of hell torture. Because you couldn't get up and leave because the only people in the audience were people the children knew.
I got cats.
All their parents were in the audience.
Their teachers, their parents. You couldn't be like, this sucks.
And you could have just run away.
You had to sit there through the whole thing so you could tell them at the end, good job.
Do it again, sweetie. You're really good.
It was so awful.
That's going to be the
No,
last.
no, go ahead. I think you have a future as an actor. No, it's okay.
So awful.
That's going to be the
I mean, this was at least 8 or 9 years ago. So all these kids are grown and gone. You know, they're not. I'm not hurting anybody's feelings.
That's going to be the final piece of music at my service when everybody's filing out and the casket solemnly moves. We'll have also Sprach Zarathustra by the Portsmouth Symphonia playing. It sums up my life brilliant. It's this grandiose, wonderful piece of music just put together so very badly. It just sums up my life. So
You sure you don't want Mars Bringer of War?
nah, dull, boring. It's a great piece of music. Probably my favourite of all time when it comes to classical music, because it is the images it brings to mind are very vivid. I find when I was first listening to that when I was a kid, back in whenever they released BBC Space Themes, I can't remember when that was, 78, 77, 79. I'm not sure. They had Mars the Bringer of War on there to represent Quatermass. And I used to listen to it, and this is back in the day where you put the LP on the record player, you know, you lowered the needle and you just sat there, positioned perfectly between the two stereo speakers, and you listened. You didn't do anything else. There was no phone to and so Mars the Bringer of War is an incredibly visual piece of music. It really, really is. You can imagine the things that are going on in this music at each time. It's, yeah, as long as you've got a really worrying head. But, so I loved it. That's my favourite piece of classical music. Nowadays we're going to have O Little Town of Bethlehem, the prayer of the hymn of the New Adventures. What else are we going to have? Fuck if I can remember. I don't know. I've forgotten. Hey, I've forgotten my own funeral preparations. That's cool. I like this. Yeah, that's good. I told you before, Brian. You should remember. Reykjavik, Brian. Reykjavik.
Outsourcing your memory, aren't
Yeah,
you?
this is what I'm doing. Yes, he's basically my thumb drive.
Well, before we go, I have a recommendation if you need something lighthearted in your day.
Possibly. Let us find out.
On
yes.
BBC Sounds,
Yes.
the Agatha Raisin series starring Penelope Keith.
What
They're
genre
short
is this?
little episodes. It's murder mystery, but it's very lighthearted, cozy. They're based on a book series. But Penelope Keith just Penelope Keiths through the whole thing. And there's ones on YouTube as well. And there's at one point in I think series 1 where somebody says to her, she's new to the village, and somebody says something to her, and she says, "I neither know nor care."
Quick explanation. Penelope Keith is certainly in
Bless
for the 70s and possibly the 80s. She was the most British woman alive.
Yes.
Most English woman alive. So posh. But obviously, she got cast in these roles, but she was just superb in them. The Good Life, for example. Oh, she was magnificent in that. I was going to say Murder, She Wrote again. Oh, God. To the Manor Born.
To the Manor Born.
Yep.
Yes, she's magnificent in that.
Force of Nature.
And she's got a whole series she did several years ago where she goes around different villages and she just looks at all these different kinds of villages.
Tells them off and tells them what they should be doing. You
No,
see,
actually, she doesn't though. It's very delightful. It's lovely, and they do things. They have their
You
traditions.
see, they could do basically Hell's Kitchen, but with Penelope Keith going around English villages, trying to right. No, we're going to have that.
That will work.
That. It would work, wouldn't it?
But this is the core concept of the book series and therefore the radio series is that Agatha Raisin was a
something amazing has happened.
We've got another viewer.
Yes.
We've got 2 viewers. Hello,
Yes.
other viewer. Feel free to say hello. Please don't mention my
She's so
imagination
lonely.
again.
Please say hello.
she was an advertising. Basically, she worked her way up to owning her own advertising company, and then she gave it all up and moved to this little village. And she's got enough money to do whatever she wants, but she didn't grow up rich. And the backstory of the character doesn't exactly fit Penelope Keith's voice, but you don't care because she's just magnificent in the whole thing.
She's called Agatha Raisin.
Agatha Raisin.
Oh, I know who it is.
She's brilliant. We love Penelope
No,
Keith.
our other viewer.
Oh, who is it?
Look in the who's online.
Is it 01 Ella?
No.
Is it 47 Res?
No.
Is it Alicidra?
No.
Another
Keep going down the list. Take
I am.
a look.
Thaco Gaming. Right, okay. Thaco Gaming's very good. We haven't actually spoken about that yet. We should do before we go.
Thaco Gaming is amazing.
Is that you logged in as Thaco Gaming, or is it Jess?
No. I'm logged in as me.
Oh, all right, so Jess is there. Hi, Jess. Mwah. Okay, yeah, the RPG last night. Do you want to explain?
You have fun?
Yes, you know I did.
I'm just checking. I always check with my players.
You almost hurt me. Almost. I didn't lose any hit points.
You got
from
your
it.
bell rung.
Yeah. That's the closest you've come to actually doing anything to me.
I'll start upping the ante.
No. No. You don't need to on my behalf. I get
No,
the
it's
feeling
fine.
that
It's
that
okay.
robot was put in for me.
That robot was put in to demonstrate to the players that not every encounter can be won.
Well, we hardly did any fighting last night. We did an awful lot of avoiding fighting.
And running.
Yeah.
Running is good.
It is good. We've run off the edge of the map, so we're fucked if we know where we are now. But
Oh, I know exactly where you are.
of course you do.
You're in level 9. You're coming close to the areas.
Why do I get the feeling there was a deliberate pause before saying the areas?
And that there's capital letters involved.
Yes. Yeah, I was heading that way. It's either going to be that or italic, and I think capital letters, yeah, that makes the point a little bit better. In bold? In bold, or is that overstating it?
Well, I use Mandalorian script for the alien language, so bold Mandalorian script.
A little bit of ominous music in the background.
Mm-hmm.
So show me cards.
They're going to be 12-point font.
It's a shame we can't source copyright-free music to play in the background whilst you're streaming. Because I mean, there was some silencers last night because
Yeah.
I remembered to keep my microphone muted. And I'm trying so hard.
She
to be a
is.
pain in
It
the
was
arse.
much better tonight than it has been in the past.
Yeah, I've been trying. Poor Spanky he's got too much.
He
on
was
his,
lost.
He's got
It
too
was
much on
okay.
his plate. We're worried about him. My poor little sausage.
Yeah, no, it was fine. The players have explored down to the
9th level.
final level.
I
of
should
the
also
City of
point
Ice.
out we've also discovered our mortal enemy. Ladders.
They have ladders and doors.
Yeah.
Ladders and doors are the RPG
Yeah.
players'
Yeah.
number one enemy.
Yeah. I have a tendency to break doors when I open them, and it's a tendency that's followed me in RPGs for some reason.
So all they have to do is scale down a ladder.
Yeah.
5 stories.
Yeah.
5 stories, 5 rolls.
Yeah.
One of them decides swan dive,
In the hope someone else will catch her.
hoping somebody will catch them.
That's you, Jess!
Which they do. The other one, our main, DPS, he's like rock
He's got
solid.
tattoos
He's
all
a
over
high
him. Oh,
athlete.
dear me. Spanky.
First ladder off the bat.
He's
Down to
Straxed,
the bottom.
basically.
To what's this guy in Blake 7 too? Wasn't a ladder and a door his downfall?
Yeah.
Oh, the big, tall, strong.
Oh, do you mean Gan?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
No,
Yes,
Roof,
I'm tall and flat.
Yeah, Roof fell on him.
Yes, that's it. But he couldn't get through the door up the ladder, and everybody else did.
Well, no, he was waiting for the others to go. He was going to come last and hold the naughty people off, and then the explosive went
Yes.
off and they landed on
Things
him.
did not go
It
well for him.
was so sad.
Yeah,
I
this
like
this
Gan.
one fell about 60 feet straight down.
Yeah,
Oh, dear.
it was like Deep Breath.
He
At the end,
bounced.
end of Deep Breath, where Madame Vasta and Jenny graciously and gracefully, rather, unfurling ribbons as they go down, and it's a beautiful scene. And then you hear his and as Strax just falls. That's essentially what that was last night, and I appreciated it greatly. I did. That was a pleasurable moment.
I'm just really pleased it's Punch. That one, you got decked really hard. And
That
two,
really did that. You really enjoyed that.
he moved out. Okay, there is a robot construct with a gigantic hammer in melee. So of course, she, being a dragon, feels that she's invulnerable and moves out of the way. This robot construct, wham, upside the head.
Ooh.
I saw
And
little
she's
animated
walking
birdies going
funny back to her party.
But I didn't actually.
I'm
usually help.
okay.
Let me at him. Yeah, no, I didn't.
I'll
really
see.
help.
I'll take on
take
both
that.
of them.
And my very next round, I managed to unshake. So, yeah, did all right there. I like that. I was going to
fine.
close with that thing because I didn't know. I thought it might be an idea to buy the others time to get to the next area where we expect the treasure to be. And
Oh, you still have at least.
Oh,
two
I'm
more
sure.
areas,
I'm
so-
sure.
I'm sorry. Something like
A
that.
certain amount of areas. Yeah.
Certain amount.
So I was going to basically hold on and really go for it. I knew I would get hurt, but I thought, I could be heroic here.
You were going to pull a Gan.
In the end, I basically ran like a little girly straight past Teak, Jess's character. Didn't
Our
bother.
glass cannon.
Yeah, didn't bother to help her and just carried on running. And she was so grateful.
Mm-hmm.
So grateful. Oh, wow.
It's okay. You're going to have to be a little bit better trained by your rider from now on.
You are so... I might end up quitting the boat if that's what's going to happen.
Uh-huh.
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 I may turn to you and say, right, my dragon's quitting the boat because it's sick to death of being used like a slave.
It's not being used like a slave.
I have got to be trained, ridden.
Yep. You're being treated like a newbie.
I'm
You have
being
no
treated
training.
like property,
You have no training. You are
not property.
the size of a bus when you want to be.
I have a name.
So therefore, you can transport everyone comfortably.
I have a name. It's Tarklu.
Okay, Lulu.
Fuck you.
Lulu needs to get a harness when she gets back to the boat.
That's not happening.
It's a riding harness.
It's not going to happen. You wouldn't be able to fit me with it anyway. There's no one on board I can actually turn into a dragon. There's no one big enough. So, no, it's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. If they try
You're right.
it,
You're right. It is going to happen.
if they try it, trying tonight. That's all I'm saying.
All I'm saying is I am the GM. What players want to try is up to them.
Frying tonight. That's all I'm saying.
In-character actions have in-character consequences.
My word, we've actually been managed to go for 2 hours. Well done.
Excellent.
I've no idea if it was any good, but well done. So,
Certain
next,
amount of waffle.
well, that's the Flashing Blade. We talk bollocks. That's the excuse. The show's just the excuse to hang out, basically. Right, so next Sunday, the last 5 episodes of the War Game, Stephen Noonan possibly, Unit Nemesis from Big Finish, Kolchak, Fear and something, and no,
Firefall.
Firefall, yeah, that I knew there was an F involved somewhere. And
I got your F.
with luck, Kratos 2. There we go. That's next Sunday, 9 p.m. UK time, 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm not Jeremy Vine. Oh well. That's good. Yeah, we're going now. Do you want to say goodbye?
Not really.
Do you not? Oh, it sucks to be you
No,
then, really.
no, it's so
doesn't
sad.
it? Oh, it sucks to be you so much.
I'll say farewell, adieu,
Auf
Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen. What's the next line?
I don't know.
Okay. Right then. A little bit knows.
I do. It's a musical.
Go on then.
Goodbye.
There we are. Goodbye.
There we go.
There, amazing. The timing that I completely didn't get. Goodbye, everyone.
You've got to fight for what you want, for all that you believe. It's right to fight for what we want, to live the way we please. As long as we have done our best, then no one can do more. And life and love and happiness are well worth fighting for. They're well worth fighting for.
As far as I know, John Levine has not been to Reykjavik. La 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 la.